Forgive me for being a little late. I'm going as quick as I can. Oh. Okay. Now, I'm supposed to not start this wonderful meeting. I think one of these gentlemen or some... Jordan, where are you? Who's leading off the meeting here? Me?
Ready. Gentleman ready for the census to speak.
Okay, if that gentleman could come and where is he? Oh, here. Okay, you go. I'm not. Forgive me. I'm down. I can't get back up.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Timothy Mataloni. I'm an Assistant Regional Census Manager in the Philadelphia Regional Office. My job is to oversee all operations that happen within this great state of West Virginia. So a few things I would like to announce is I want to thank the Governor for the invitation here for this special occasion. I'd like to thank the Senator's Office, the Congressional offices for all their support throughout this 2020 census planning. I would also like to thank the State Complete Count Commission, the commissioners that are in attendance, as well as all the veterans that we have in the crowd as well. So thank you very much for attending. A couple things here I want to go over. Recruiting. Right now, we are still in our recruiting phase for the 2020 census. We still need thousands of employees throughout the state of West Virginia and all communities to apply. So from that point on, you go to 2020census.gov/jobs to apply for the positions. They range from 10 to 20 minutes to fill out your application. It is very part-time, flexible, great paying hours. It starts at $13.50 and goes all the way up to $24 an hour based off of your location. But again, we are looking for applicants throughout the state in all communities as quickly as possible. Some of the selections we've already started. We have already started some of our selections in operations throughout West Virginia. We have already selected over 3,000 applicants across the state for various jobs that are going to be occurring in operations over the next few months. We're going to expect an additional 3,600 selected throughout the state, with the majority of them being around 3,000 to be selected for the first week and second week in March for what we call our non-response follow-up operation, where we do go door to door for those who do not respond to the census. This census is different than prior censuses. This is the first time we have the opportunity to respond to the census online, by phone, or through the mail, whichever preference is easier for you. I just want to go over two differences with some of the overlapping deadlines for these operations. West Virginia, due to its very rural nature and some issues with mailable addresses, some of the paper forms we felt or postcards would not get to that address on time. So we have an operation we call Update Leave, where we're going door to door for 27% of the households throughout the state of West Virginia. This will occur starting March 15th through April 10th. So these census workers, which will probably be close to 1,000 census workers throughout the state, will be going door to door, knocking on the door, hand delivering census questionnaires with codes for them to either go online, respond by phone, or mail the paper form in. The rest of the state will start receiving their postcards via the mail starting March 12th. Now, we will have 5 subsequent mailings after that, week to week. In that 4th mailing, as a reminder, each household will receive a paper form. So if any households do not feel that they are comfortable replying via the internet, over the phone, and they just prefer a paper form, they will get that during the 4th mailing to respond. Again, this is safe, easy, and important. These responses will shape your future of your communities for years to come. Billions of dollars of funds are going to be distributed annually based off of the census data. So again, please Once you see a Census Bureau employee, please welcome them. Please fill that census form out as quickly as possible and as accurate as possible. Again, so we want a complete and accurate count for the state of West Virginia. Again, I would like to thank the governor for having us here during this special occasion. Again, just to stress, it's easy, it's safe, and it's important, and it's going to shape the future of West Virginia moving forward. And I feel that this is going to be the best census the state of West Virginia has ever had. So thank you very much. I would like to briefly introduce Mr. Ronald Brown, our partnership coordinator, to go over a few comments of what him and his staff are doing within each of the community, develop those trusted voices, those trusted partners to help us ensure a complete and accurate census. So Ron?
Thank you, Tim. And Governor Justice, on behalf of Director Dillingham out of Suitland, Maryland headquarters, also Mr. Fernando Armstrong, who is the regional director in the Philadelphia Regional Census Center, they wanted to say thank you and thank you for all of your support with what you are doing to help us promote the census. Why do we do a census? It's a constitutional mandate that we count everyone in this country every 10 years. Because it impacts our communities in a number of different ways. And I know some of those things that are impacted are near and dear to the governor's heart and some of the things he is working on here in West Virginia. It impacts apportionment. That's representation in Congress. Each state is allocated seats based on the population count of their state, West Virginia. Those are the people who are making decisions on our behalf in Congress. But probably the biggest and most important impact is funding, as Tim was mentioning. There will be over $675 billion redistributed back into communities based on the population count across this country. How does that impact, say, West Virginia? Well, in the 8 states in the District of Columbia we're working in, some of the localities have determined that for every person missed, that represents $2,000 per person. Over a 10-year period of time, that's $20,000 per person. Those dollars impact some significant things. In education, children meals, lunch, breakfast are reduced or free based on federal dollars coming back into the state. Roadways, maintaining roadways is key for getting those federal dollars in here to make sure we're able to get around to wherever we need to get to. Hospital services, those are impacted by those federal dollars coming in. That number will not change until another decennium is done in 2030. So again, some places, $2,000 per person, $20,000 over a 10-year period. We thank the governor for putting together the State Complete Count Commission and those partners we are working with. We have over 61 different complete count committees here in West Virginia working to get the word out and sharing with people the importance of the census and why everyone needs to be counted. In 2010, children under the age of 5, there were 1 million children missed, not counted. So you multiply the numbers, 2,000 times 1 million. Do you think West Virginia can use some of those funds here from the governor and the work he is doing here? If you don't think so, let me know. I have other governors who said they'd be happy to take that coming from West Virginia.
We want the money.
So that's the importance of the census and why we have to get everyone counted, why we have to share the message. Some of the groups we've been working with here in West Virginia is the United Way of West Virginia, Our Future West Virginia, Family Resources Network, and West Virginia Kids Count. Those are programs throughout the state that are working with us to make sure we get the message out of the importance of the census and that everyone needs to be counted. Again, we thank the governor and his team for everything they're doing here, and we look forward to continue to work with you, Governor. Thank you.
Thank y'all so much. Well, first of all, and I get, I don't know, maybe there's times you could get praise or there's times that you get ridiculed because, you know, I speak in words that I hope that all of us appreciate from the standpoint of I speak the truth and I speak in just common everyday words. Because I think that's what we all are. First and foremost, we have a bunch of veterans here. Today is Veterans Visibility Day, and we'll get to that in just a second. I've said it 1,000 billion times. We owe everything in our lives to them. I mean, they and the active military, what they give and do for us in this country is phenomenal. We'll get to that in just one second. Now we have an issue of census. Now just think about this. Secretary Wilbur Ross, the Secretary of Commerce in the U.S., has now called me 2 times. And the second time he called me, my dad always used to say, son, it's okay to get a bulldozer hung up if you're trying to do a job with that bulldozer. But son, I better never come out here and see that you've got a bulldozer hung up and you went and got another bulldozer to pull that out and you got them both hung up. Now I've got 2 calls now. I've got 2 calls from Secretary Ross basically saying West Virginia's behind. Well, so I'm not going to get the 3rd call because we need to get going. Now, that's all there is to it. We need to get cranking. Now, I created a West Virginia Complete Count Commission, and we're moving, but we're not moving like I want to see us moving. Now, just to tell it like it is and be brutally honest, I felt like, well, gosh, created this council, whatever like this, or this commission, and everything's moving, everything's kind of progressing the way we want it to go, and everything's all hunky-dory. Well, evidently it's not, and evidently we're behind. Now, the other thing, everybody has got to understand just this. We've got real jobs, real great paying jobs. Now, and they're perfect for our retirees and people that, that just want to work a few hours a week and everything. And not only do they work and they get paid, but in addition to that, it's a feel-good job because you're doing something really, really, really good for our state. Now, let me say one more thing, and it's just this. In this count, we have absolutely left tens and tens of millions of dollars on the table. For years and years and years and years. We only do this every 10th year anniversary. We have got to make sure that every single one of us is counted. All of us are counted. That's all there is to it. I mean, if you believe for some reason that if they know where I'm at, they're going to come and get me, get that out of your blooming head. That's just all there is to it. And absolutely without any question, you've got to know that there is only one side to this coin, and that's an upside. There's only one side. There's not a downside. There's not a downside to them knowing that, there's 100 of you up hoo-hoo holla. There's not a downside. They're not going to come and get you. There's nothing but positive goodness that's coming out of this. Now, we got to get you counted. And if you've got Crazy Eddie that's up on the mountain, we got to know Crazy Eddie's up on the mountain. That's all there is to it. Now, y'all can think, well, gosh, dog, I've never heard a governor talking like this and everything, but it's just a fact. We have got to make sure we all get counted. So, in all of that, and I want to read this. Today, I am here to announce that out of my contingency fund, and this is a big lick, I'm going to put $1 million out of our contingency fund into these people's hands to make sure that we get counted right. Now, that's a giant leap and a giant step. in order for us to be sure that we get counted. I want Secretary Ross and everyone in every state to know that West Virginia takes this tremendously serious, and absolutely I want them to say West Virginia is leading the way. West Virginia is absolutely committed to make sure that all of our people are counted, and this census is tremendously important for our nation, for our state, and now let's go. I'm telling you, please, please, we need an onslaught of people now calling, because to be perfectly honest, there's too many people out there that don't have a clue, don't have any idea that there's a job available that'll pay them real live money, and not only will they be getting real live money, but they'll be doing something that is so meaningful to the state it's off the chart. So, come on. Everybody get behind. If I'm willing to take $1 million out of my contingency fund and throw into this and say, let's go, let's go. And if I had my basketball team here, especially if they were boys, they would all get together and scream at the top of their lungs, let's go. But, okay, that's good enough by me. Okay. But now I'm gonna sign a proclamation somewhere, if somebody will bring it to me. But men, thank y'all so much. I would have introduced you and everything, but I thought somebody else was going to do that and everything. And so thank you for all you do, and thank you for being here. They've come a long ways, and let's give them a big round of applause, and then let's get behind them and do it. Come on, Dennis, get up here.
Hello, Governor.
How you doing, sir?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Got the proclamation here.
This is a superstar right here. Go talk to him, Dennis. Talk to him.
Talk about being put on the spot. But, Governor, first of all, I want to thank you for all that you do for the veterans in the state of West Virginia. As you said, as far back as the campaign, you have made a commitment to the veterans in the state of West Virginia, and you have kept that commitment, Governor. And I can't say it enough, but I'm going to remind you again, we appreciate all that you do for our veterans. As many of you know, several things the governor has done this year to keep our veteran program strong and committed to the veterans we have here in the state of West Virginia. Namely, he provided an additional appropriation in our budget this year to fix some things we had to maintain with the nursing facility in Clarksburg. And Governor, we really do appreciate that. We were at a loss at how we were going to address that. But once again, you stepped up to the plate. You also know that last year, starting July the 1st, we turned the Veteran Transportation Program over to the DAV. Again, the governor gave us 13 new vehicles last year. We've got another chunk ordered this year that haven't been delivered yet. And then I heard him say, once again, in the state of the state, he's putting more money in there so we can get those old vans off the road and get these new ones here. So, Governor, we really appreciate all of that. And I just want to say to you, Governor, before reading this proclamation, we have many veterans here for representing many organizations, and I'll just outline them, mention them to you. We have some here representing the American Legion. We have some who are representing the Veterans of Foreign Wars, the Disabled American Veterans, the Military Order of the Purple Heart, Vietnam Veterans of America, the Marine Corps League, and I would be remiss if I didn't recognize our very own Woody Williams, the Medal